off with a real quick survey. How many of you feel like you are well educated and know a lot about the current political race? What's going on? Me too. I didn't know anything, so I wanted to take a look at that and then try and let you know what I found out. So I started off not knowing anything, and then after doing all of this research, I found out a little bit more about current political candidates. So these are some statistics showing that college students oftentimes are not as involved in politics. The first graph, the bottom line is students aged 18 to 24, and they have the lowest voting percentage of any of the other age groups at 38%. And we're actually lower than the average of 21% students, college students, feel engaged in politics. So I wanted to take this time to inform you about 6 candidates. I chose the top 3 from each party to inform you about their stances on college education, student debt, student loans. This was my source for the top 3 I was going to show you, but I don't have time. So the top 3 are Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden on the Democratic side, and then Donald Trump, Ben Carson, and Jeb Bush on the Republican side. So looking at their plans, I found that there are 2 basic ways of facing this challenge. Basically, there's the plan of making college less expensive, meaning reducing the cost of college. The other plan is spending more money to make tuition less for the students, but not reducing the cost of college. So the person that started this whole debate was Hillary Clinton. She released her $350 billion plan this summer, and she gives a lot of specific details. Her plan is what she calls loan-free tuition. So it's not free college, but students do not have to go into debt to attend. This is according to the New York Times, an article written by Julie Bozeman and Tamara Lewis. Students will not accumulate debt, and there are incentives for colleges that can give no debt students, no debt rates. But they said one of the issues with this would be that low-income students might be dropped, like they wouldn't be accepted because the college would have to pay more to bring them in to receive those benefits. This would also hurt transfer students because they wouldn't belong to a specific college, and so no college would really want to accept them. The second candidate is Bernie Sanders. He has a plan to cover all the cost of college so that students don't have to pay anything. He wants to make tuition free, and that would cost $70 billion a year, with the federal government then providing $47 billion of that, and the states making up the remaining $23 billion. He plans to do this, more work study for the students, and to get the money for the federal government by increasing taxes on Wall Street, 0.5% on stocks and 0.1% on bonds. Jeb Bush, one of the leading Republican candidates, he says that the problem is that tuition is increasing faster than inflation. So they're not increasing at an even rate, which is what you would want to see. So he proposes we increase efficiency rather than spending more money. But he does have a plan in mind called the Tennessee program. This is a program currently in place in Tennessee that he would want to see made nationwide. Right now it's just a state program, and each state would have their own program. But it's a last dollar program. So what that means is the students get all of the grants and scholarships and whatever they would normally get, and then whatever they can't pay, the state government would make that up, so they don't have to pay any. And right now the plan is for a 2-year out-of-state sponsored school. Donald Trump is the next candidate. He has not released many details, but he does want to, quote, fix the problem. He proposes doing this in several ways. One, he would like to lower interest rates on student loans. One quote that I found a little bit surprising from him was talking about student loans. He says, that's probably one of the only things that the government shouldn't make money off. I think it's terrible that one of the only profit centers we have is student loans. So he would like to see the government not profiting off college students. But in the end, he says the long-term solution to student debt is more jobs and a better economy rather than fixing loans. Ben Carson in an article he wrote for the Washington Times, he says that college education is very important. Those that are college educated have better wages, a better standard of living, and better lifestyle in general. But he does not want to see education made free. He says free is only free if no one pays for it. It's not fair to tax Billy to pay for Joe's school. He also says that working hard makes a person appreciate their school more. And Joe Biden, currently not running, but if he were to run, he would be one of the top 2 according to the statistics I was looking at, has proposed more work study. He agrees with Donald Trump that growing the economy is the best way to fix this issue, but he has proposed, since debt is a big issue, he has proposed a 10% yearly income cap on the amount you can be required to repay in a year. So if you're not earning much money in a year, they're not going to require exorbitant amounts of repayment. So now we've looked at 6 candidates really briefly and their stances on college education and student debt. Most of these plans require some money, and several of them would like to see things made more efficient. So it's a very brief overview, and you can see all of their plans online. This is not enough to make your decision for voting, but this is one issue on 6 candidates. I hope it has informed you a little bit.